Go Hoots! Today we are putting to the test the new Huda Beauty Obsessions or Wild Obsessions little eyeshadow palettes that she just came out with. These are her like little 9-pan ones that she kind of does. The packaging is adorable, and I have to actually say that I really like the color schemes of these as well, or at least of the ones that I got. So we're going to put them to the test. I'm actually going to create 2 looks using these palettes, like one look with one palette, one look with the other palette. You get it, right? Anyway, let's just get started. Before we do, let's go ahead and do the YouTubey things. You can go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much if you do. It truly helps my channel out. And now let's put these eyeshadows on my eyes. Okay, so the new Wild Obsessions palettes from Huda. So I got the color Jaguar and the color Python. We will get into what these look like in just a jiffy. I wasn't originally going to review these. I really liked the color scheme, honestly, and I put it up on my Instagram, and honestly, I don't know if I've had that many people participate in a poll before, but it was a very resounding yes. Yes, you wanted to see a review. So I was like, okay, well, I'll pick one up, and then I just couldn't decide between these two, so I was like, okay, YOLO, I'm just gonna get both. Now, these palettes are 44 Australian dollars, and you do get 9 eyeshadows in each one of these, and the pans are quite small. Like, you can kind of see from the size of it here on my hand, they are a smaller eyeshadow palette as opposed to something like her bigger one, which is obviously quite a bit larger, and you get a lot more shades. So this is the Jaguar palette. Now, first of all, we need to talk about the packaging. I'm hoping the shift comes up on camera, but can we talk about how beautiful it is in that little like holographic? Huda always nails it with the packaging. And then this is the inside of the Jaguar palette. This shade right here, so beautiful. I cannot wait to swatch these. Honestly, this palette for me really speaks to me. Like, this palette is like I'm gonna reach for this quite a lot if the formula is what I want it to be. It's just a color scheme that's really speaking to me at the moment. It's a bit more cool tone. I'm really loving the vibes of this particular palette, and I'm gonna do this look second because this is the one that I'm most excited to use, and I want to finish with that look. Now, this is Python. So this is like the green one. I've seen most of you loving Python. All of you kind of messaged me and was like, get Python, get Python. So I picked up Python for you, don't you worry. I mean, I also wanted Python, don't get me wrong, because look at the beautiful color scheme. It is a little bit more unique. I don't think that these are necessarily groundbreaking unique shades, to be completely honest with you, for Huda. I think that she absolutely has other little obsession palettes where she might have plucked a couple of these shades from, or she's tweaked the formulation slightly or the color slightly. I really think, actually, to be honest, with all 4, maybe I feel like maybe Jaguar is probably the more unique-ish one, but even then, I know the khaki collection or the haze collection that she brought out, you could probably find these dupes. I don't really think any of these Obsessions palettes that she has just recently brought out is probably like super unique or anything like that. I think you can probably, if you've got all of the Obsessions palettes, you probably have these colors. But for me, as someone who doesn't have any of the Obsessions palettes, this is perfect because I really like these color schemes. And honestly, if I was looking at all of them, these are the color schemes that I would pick up. So win-win for me, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm just gonna go ahead and get started and create these looks. So the first palette that we're gonna use is Python, and then we'll go into Jaguar. Now I'm gonna go off camera quickly. I'm gonna create a look with one eye. We're gonna come back. I'm gonna talk you through Python and so on and so forth. You know how we roll around here. So just a jiffy. Okay, are you ready? Woo! I think I used every single, I know I used every single color in this except for, yeah, this like middle brown, but I used all of the others, 8 shades. Are you guys impressed with me? Are you proud of me? I'm proud of me. Anyway, and that's the main thing. Let's go ahead and redo this eye look. I'm going to use my NARS eye primer like I always do. Also, I have had 5 hours sleep for the last 3 nights pretty much. And, you know, I've had work and long days and all that kind of stuff, and it's now like 7 o'clock at night, so it's gonna get weird. I'm just fair warning you. The first shade that we're going into is this like acidy green color right here, which honestly is the shade that I will purchase a palette for. You know how there's certain shades that like speak to you as a person, and if it's in a palette, you're just like, I don't care. It's got my shade, I'm gonna pick it up, and acid green is that for me. This is a Refa 15, by the way, And we're going to just like buff this through the crease. So I'm gonna pat, because it's a light, kind of like a yellow. Yellows are quite hard. I'm going to like pat it on and then slowly blend it out. Now I have to tell you that the quality of this shade is pretty damn good. Pretty darn good. I'm just telling you. I'm gonna be really, really honest. I'm not a Huda skeptic because I have quite a lot of Huda's products that I really, really like. And so I always continue to purchase Huda Beauty because 9 times out of 10 her products really work lovely for me. But her eyeshadow palettes and I sometimes have like a little bit of an argument. Currently, Mercury retrograde and I are not speaking because for some reason Mercury retrograde has decided to stop applying to my eyes. Like, I can't even describe it. I need to do a video on it and see how it goes now because it's been a month. But yeah, anyway. So because of that, we're a little bit of a skeptic. And I have to say that this was a pure joy to create. Like, honestly, it didn't take me long. It was fun to play with. It was fun to work with. I'm highly impressed. And like, as I'm speaking, I think that you guys can see just how easy this green was to blend out. Like, it's beautiful. It's stunning. In real life, it has pigment to it. It looks gorgeous. You could put this all over the lid. It would show up. I don't know. I'm impressed. Like, it's hard. This is a hard color to formulate correctly and get right. So I'm not mad so far, to be completely honest with you. Go Hoots. So the next color that we're going into is this like minty green right here, which again is another color. Like, I got this palette because I love greens and it really has some beautiful greens in it. Now, typical to the normal Huda kind of style, there is a bit of kickback, so just be mindful of that if you don't enjoy a lot of fallout. This is my Refa 14 and I'm just going to follow the same tactic that I used with this like acid green, but just slightly lower down. Now I'm just going back into the acid green color and I'm just gonna buff out the edges of that mint green again. And then what I did was I went into this dark brown color right here. This is a Lunar Beauty number 5 brush. And I just picked up a little bit and I made sure that I tapped off all of the excess and I really lightly just tapped this into the outer corner. And I really didn't bring it any further in than like here, because all I'm trying to do is just deepen up this outer corner. I'm not actually really trying to put a lot of the color on, if that makes sense. Now for the really fun parts, we're going into this beautiful blue color right here. I didn't show you guys swatches yet. I'll do swatches in a second when this eye looks finished. I promise. So this is my Duo Fiber brush from Delium Tools and I'm just packing this onto the center of the lid. And again, it's true to the Huda formula where I find her metallics to be a little bit chunky, like glittery chunky, if that kind of makes sense. So I really wet my brushes whenever I use her metallics. So it just depends, like if you don't like that kind of glittery kind of formula for your metallics, then it's potentially not the palette or the formula for you, like Huda at all. But if you don't mind a more chunky kind of metallic and a little bit of fallout, then honestly, it is a lovely formula. Now we're going into the green. And this green is cool. I really like it. This is like the green almost in the Kaleidos Club Nebula palette more so, I'd say. It's like neon, see? This is such a cool palette, honestly. I wasn't as excited about this one, I'm not gonna lie, as I was the other one, but now I'm like, oh, I'm really vibing with this. You know, it's nice when things work out. Okay, so we're taking this middle Python shade right here. They don't have shade names on here, by the way. So we're just taking this middle one with like the snake print on it on my finger. It's a topper shade more than anything. So I'm just gonna pop that over the top of the blue. I will show you guys swatches so that you can see what that looks like soon. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back into this dark brown color with that same Lunar Beauty brush, and we're just gonna tap it to deepen this up. And I think it's actually these dark browns that Huda and I don't get along with. I find that her dark colors like this get a little bit patchy, and this is the only shadow in this palette that I like that I've used. I haven't used this one obviously, but out of all of them, it's the only one that I actually probably am like, I don't love it. I don't love the formulation of it. I think it's just fine. Like, it is quite patchy. You do need to kind of like build it up, and if you have hooded eyes, it's gonna get patchy. It's just gonna be how it is. But the rest of them are really, really beautiful. So then we're going into this like watermelon-y peachy kind of color. This is on a Refa 13, and I'm gonna run this underneath the lower lash line all the way across. And then we're picking up this beautiful gold shade. This gold shade is cool. I don't normally love a gold shade, but I don't know what it is about this one, but it's really nice. With all of Huda's metallics, I wet them every single time, even if it's just for the inner corner, but I am putting this more like on the lower lash line here. All right, and that's how quick and easy this eye look was. It was very, very, very easy to achieve. I'm just gonna quickly go and put this ColourPop liner in my lower waterline, my Fenty Beauty black liner in my top waterline, and then my mascara, and then I will be back and I'll show you the finished look, and we'll show you swatches as well. That was a mouthful. This is the finished look for the Python palette. Now, all of the makeup products for each of these looks will be linked down below, like lips and all that kind of stuff as well, in case you're interested. I just wanted to quickly show you before we move on the swatches from this palette. I only swatch metallics, you guys, because I'm not the best at swatching at the best of times, but you can see how like neon and like, I want to say like galactic these swatches are, and I feel like you can see that on the eyes. At least I hope you can. Like, I really feel like these swatches have translated beautifully to the eyes. I'm highly impressed with the Python palette so far. I know I sound really surprised by that, and because to be honest with you, I am. The last few times I've used my Huda palettes, they haven't been a super great experience for me, and in comparing them to other formulas in my collection, I haven't been as wowed, but I'm super like genuinely wowed by this Python palette. So I'm gonna go and wash my makeup off, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna use the Jaguar palette. So just a tick. We are back with look 2 using the Jaguar palette. So you've already seen it, but just for reference, this is the Jaguar palette. It's like a beautiful cool tone. These are the swatches of the metallics, and they're amazing. I love this shade so much. And actually, I love all of these shades. I feel like I will reach for this palette a lot because it's beautiful, and I really love that she's gone for, this is a different metallic formula than what I've used in her other palettes, and I love it. It's more like a, I mean, they build up definitely on the lids, so they're not topper shades, but they're like almost kind of similar to the Linda Hallberg Enchanted Secrets formula, but some of them have like a lot more opacity to that. Actually, and they remind me a lot of the Kaleidos formula, to be completely honest with you as well. The first thing I did was I grabbed this shade and I just kind of popped it a little bit through the crease with my Refa. Actually, no, I didn't use my Refa, I'm lying. I used my Juvia's Place blending brush, and I just kind of fluffed it through this crease, not carefully or anything. Just a fluff. Then we went into this cool tone purple matte right here with my Refa 15, and it's beautiful. I really, really, really like this matte shade. It's just a really nice cool tone kind of color. It's almost gray on the eyes, like almost, with a slight purple tinge, and I like it. I'm here for it. So we're just gonna build this up on the outer and inner corners like we would a halo eye. Okay, so we're going into the dark brown in this palette with my Refa 14. And again, same thing, building up the outer corners and the inner corner, and just deepening the shades up. I'm just gonna take that purple matte while we're here on my Refa 13, and I'm just gonna run this under my lower lash line just the whole way across. Then I went into the black shadow. This is just on an e.l.f. Cosmetics blending brush, and I'm just really lightly tapping this into the inner and outer corners. With black shades, you wanna make sure that you're starting very lightly and building, because you can't take a black back, but you can build it up, you know what I'm saying? I'm also just running that underneath here. So now for the fun parts. We're taking this gorgeous silver shade in this bit here. I really like this shade. I want to bathe in it. I want to bathe in it. I'm not gonna lie. Now I have wet my brush. I didn't put the Maron down for this one, but I have wet my brush, and I'm just going to pack this into the center of the lid. Is that not beautiful? Like absolutely stunning that shade is. I don't know if it's gonna like really give you the impact of what it looks like on camera, but my lord, it is such a beautiful shade. Like that packed all over the lid with like a smoky eye. You know. Now we're going into this middle shade right here. The middle shades are definitely like that Enchanted Secrets formula from Linda Hallberg. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Very similar to actually a Pat McGrath Astral shade, I'm not gonna lie. It is very similar. And that's beautiful. Like, surely you guys can see that. Hopefully you can. Because that, freaking stunning, you guys. Freaking stunning. Like, just spectacular. And then I'm going into this beautiful gold shade. This is like a really, really small flat shader brush. Perfect for like inner corners, especially if you want to put some like metallic there or like on the lower waterline, etc. And we're gonna pack this into the inner corner. All right, and that is literally it for this look. I've got Colourpop Amethyst Purple Liner, lower waterline, my normal black Fenty liner on the top, and then Pat McGrath mascara. So I'm just gonna go off camera and do that, and I'll be right back. And this is the finished makeup look for look 2 using the Jaguar palette. So we used Python for look 1 and Jaguar for look 2. I'm really pleasantly surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like you got the vibe of that as I was going along creating these looks, and I kind of let it be known that I do really enjoy these. Honestly, really so far, like the formula of these particular 2 palettes more than the formulas of her big palettes. I feel like that's super controversial because I know that a lot of people really do like her larger palettes. I just don't seem to get along with them as much as other people, to be completely honest with you. But I really have gotten along with these ones. Maybe it's just that I feel like the metallics in these 2 palettes are more along the lines of that Linda Hallberg Pat McGrath formula. I know, controversial calling it Pat. I'm not saying it's as good as Pat. I'm just saying it's along the lines. But I think that like those more like toppery shades are just more of my vibe than like the straight metallics. I also didn't find these anywhere near as flaky as her other eyeshadow palettes, and that's kind of my issue with her metallics normally, is that they're quite flaky. So I really liked these. I honestly think if you've got your eye on them and you're kind of like tempted by them, and you can afford it and you want to, go ahead. Like, it really gets like my approval. Honestly, I really want to continue to use these. I'm already excited to use them again. Like, I don't know, I really like them. I haven't watched any other reviews on these palettes. I try not to watch reviews of makeup products that I have coming in so that my thoughts don't get kind of tainted. So I don't know if other people are loving these or not, but I personally really like them and rate them quite highly. So there you go. So that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It means the absolute world to me, especially if you're watching till this point. I truly appreciate you. Not everyone does. I know, it's surprising, but not everyone does, but that's okay. But I appreciate you if you have, and I hope that you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Bye!